must have been a horrible mother. What was he doing all that for?
But anyways, this lady come in and said, Jack, your grandson, he's a pretty smart little old boy. And I said, how's that? I said, well, I told him, said, Cameron, there's the TV and here's the remote, but I have no idea what's on. And he said, well, you got a TV log? Well, one thing was kind of bad, but me and Earl and Cameron was in Garland spraying the house from Spanish people, and he come in that kitchen absolutely screaming, but he wasn't, bloody or nothing. I thought, what in the hell's wrong? And he couldn't talk because he's hurting so bad. But what he had done is gone in that bedroom where some girls was and picked up a hot iron, curling iron, and burned his hand. Well, I go to the refrigerator and get some butter put on there. That didn't help. And I said, Dusty, I got to take him down here to the store and see what's wrong. But he was hysterical. And there was a guy in this little old drive-in grocery store. He said, now, buddy, I don't want to interfere in your business, but if you'll get some ice and put his hands on that ice, he'll get easy. I said, okay. So we done that. And Cameron, he got easy. So we went back to got Earl, and we still had a place out in off of Lavon Highway. And as long as Cameron's hand was in that ice, well, he was asleep. But if he go to sleep and his hand fall out, he'd wake up, looking for the ice. But he woke up and was going down Lavon Highway, and there was a 7-Eleven, and he looked at me and said, Papa, if you'd go in the 7-Eleven and get me some candy, I believe I'd get feeling better. So we go in there, and I'm bent over holding that damn ice while he's doing his shopping. And he's picking out candy and stuff like that. So I still had another place to spray. It was an office building. So we went on, and when we went in there, I talked to the secretary. I said, do you care if I set him right over here while I spray? She said, no, go ahead, I'll watch him. But anyway, we got through that day with his burned hand.
Candy help.
Yeah.
Sure it does.
Well,
He knew every 7-Eleven
He knew.
in Dallas.
yeah.
He knew every 7-Eleven
And Waffle
in
House, I'm
Dallas.
sure.
And Waffle House. We went to Virginia Beach. We drove cross country and took Cameron with us, and I was visiting my brother who was stationed in Virginia Beach in the Navy. And we had a hotel right on the beach, and so we got there the first night, and we were checking things out, looked across the street, there's a 7-Eleven. And Cameron said, Pawpaw, all we need is a Waffle House. And this would be the best place to be.
And you gotta understand, I was born at 7-Eleven also, so it's
Yeah,
just
that
weird.
was just so weird. 7:11 p.m.
I was going to say,
Oh, I was thinking the like the gas station.
No, he was born.
That would hurt.
At 7-Eleven.
we would make it to the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Another thing,
I was thinking the store.
Yeah.
That's what
I wished I could remember all of it, but I can't. But we couldn't get Cameron to eat anything. I mean, anything. You remember I was at 7-Eleven one day and you drove up and crying, carrying on, and the doctor said he needs to eat more protein, and so we went through protein, peanut butter, and blah, and I said, did you talk to your mother about this? And she said, yeah. And I said, what'd she say? And Barbara said, let him die.
Now y'all have to understand, he was just way too thin. I mean, he was like malnourished, that thin. He looked like a baby from, his stomach was real big, but he was really thin. And so we were all worried about him, so.
But the only thing I could get him to eat is solids was a grocery store on Cheyenne, and he made all kind of sandwiches. And I don't know how in the world we hit on this, but I bought him a chopped beef and a pint of chocolate milk. And I mean, he devoured it. He had chopped beef all over him, chocolate milk. So the every morning we'd go in there. Oh, by the way, who was in there? But anyway, I was kind of ready for him the next time. We got a whole roll of Scott towel and wrapped him in it.
It's been in the refrigerator.
Well, I'll keep that
Deb, can you think of anything, honey? Women last year?
What's this one? I don't remember. Told you and James.
Well, we was riding back truck. David Williams was driving. And James, one of the best black dudes I have ever met. But it was James and Cameron and myself, and nobody was even saying a word. We were just riding, and Cameron looked at us and said, Papa, you and James won't never amount to anything. Scout's honor, I cannot make it
God.
He said, I've still got time, but y'all are wasting time.
We'll get you now.
Yeah.
Tell them about when y'all were talking about roach stories, you and Earl.
Well, Earl and I, we were just sitting under a carport one day. We'd finished spraying, just sitting out there talking roach stories. You know, Earl, remember that house over in Oak Cliff? Yeah, man, I remember that. So we was on and on. Cameron, he come out there. I'll tell y'all something better than that. What's that, Cameron? I sprayed a house one time, didn't even have a kitchen sink. And Earl would go in his pocket. I'm gonna cut this shit ass.
This is how my son grew up.
This is even better.
Yeah.
Well,
And we wonder why.
Tell him about
Terry Watson told me one day, said, Jack, if he's any good at all in books when he gets to school, he'll know about the streets, messing with you and Earl.
Tell him about how Cheryl dressed him up so nice and preppy and cute. And you'd go on the construction site and how he'd get him a drink of water.
Well, Cheryl
Excuse me.
had 3 vegetables a night. You went by the book. You need so many vegetables, so many
The
proteins,
green.
so many of this to be healthy,
That's how he was. Yeah.
brush your teeth, and
And
take
he
a
was
bath.
the first grandchild on
Take a
both
bath.
sides. So.
Hot damn. When we'd come in, he looked like a mud ball. Papa, I need to bathe. No.
I love going over there.
I dressed him in those cute little socks and
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
he was
Yeah, he
folded
was- yeah, he
over
was
and
real.
little sandals and his shirt tucked in and
blessed
He
him about 5 minutes.
he
Go over there and get muddy and smoke candy cigarettes.
I had no idea. I thought they were reading together,
Yeah.
learning his letters
And it was
his
like
colors.
pizza-getti, root beer, and wrestling, dude. Every time I was over there.
But when he'd come home, he was back in his same nice clothes.
Yeah, it was like,
It wasn't until years later that I found out all these stories.
But when Deb and I first met, we lived in a little house back in the 80s. I think one of them years, the hottest year we've ever had.
Yeah.
1980 was.
Yeah, I
But in
remember
this
that
little
summer.
house, there was no air. We had a little bitty fan, and this some of it would work its way off the stool or whatever, be down on the floor. And I think Debbie went home a couple times to sleep with her mother. But all the windows would be up, and all we had to do was
Now
color.
wait a minute, you mean you and Debbie spent the night together when y'all weren't married and my son was there? for
Well, I slept with
8
Cameron.
years.
Debbie,
Take my picture.
Debbie had her own bedroom.
Oh, is that it?
Of course,
Yeah,
every now and
okay.
then I'd move him, and
Okay.
La 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 la.
but we did color a lot, and we didn't have no kind of utensils. We didn't have a refrigerator for a while, did we? But anyway, did you buy that electric skillet?
Mhm.
God damn. We had fried eggs and bacon. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's it.
Like going camping, huh?
Cheryl, can you think of anything besides the hot iron?
I think those
I
are
called you,
good
Dr.
ones.
Carroll. He's in bed. Said
Yeah,
he'd be
what
all
did
right.
I tell you to do? Take him to the emergency room,
Pass them around.
and you took him to
Jesus.
7-Eleven.
Not exactly.
That was like sophomore in high school, dude, or, or junior.
But one time, Cameron and I was at a place, and Papa, if you'll just buy me this jersey, I will never ever ask you for anything else. I think it was a Michael Jordan jersey when he was real hot, and but I finally gave in, and there was a man sitting next to me. We had the windows down, and he was hearing this conversation. And the man looked at me and said, "You gave in, didn't you, dude?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, when my grandkids come over, I go in my bedroom and shut the door." Can you think of anything, Deb? I can go on and on.
I think that's the gist of it. So what are your best memories, Cameron, those days?
I wish Cameron could remember all this. I'm gonna get on you next, so be ready.
Yes, sir.
Well, I remember all the softball games and just whatever I wanted to do. I love going over there.
You stayed the summers.
Yeah, I was over there all the time.
Yeah.
It was normal to me.